Hi, co-reporters. Welcome back to my channel. It's time for our weekly Real Housewives of Atlanta recap with our friends and Make It Make Sense and Layla Lynn. How are you guys?
I just want to say this first. I was dressed like this first, and then they went and changed.
No.
Oh,
No. Me and Grace sometimes, great minds think alike. So we were both dressed in stripes, and then he got the idea from us. So now we're
so cute. Guys, let us know what you think about us all matching in the stripes today. Are you feeling it or are you feeling it? Let us know in the comment section. And while you're there voting for our tops, let us know on a scale of 1 to 10 how you would rate last night's episode of The Real Housewives of Atlanta, as we do every single week. Mims, Layla, do you guys have your ratings ready?
I would say a good 6-7.
How about you, Layla?
I would say the same. I actually liked the episode last night. I liked the episode. I got to turn it off. But I liked the episode last night. I enjoyed it.
You know what, you guys? I'm going to go higher. Wait, what was your number, by the way, Layla, that you gave it?
I would say an 8.
An 8? That's good. You know what? I was going to give it the same rating, an 8, which I think is going to shock some people. And let me tell you why. When does this air? So usually I watch it the next day, the Monday. And so this time I was like, oh God, I have to watch this again. Like, oh, like they're so boring, blah, blah. But when I actually started watching it, it was good. I was like, oh my God, like we're getting there. We're getting there. I think we are going somewhere this time. So it's got an 8 from me. Now, what was you guys' favorite part of the episode overall?
Marlo's crucifixion.
Ooh, when Kenya dragged her?
No, just when she said the word.
Oh, you know what? I wanted to mention that. I feel like Marlo mispronounces a lot of words. Like I'll be sitting there like, I'm like, is that really said like that? Because I feel like it's not. Like she makes me feel like I'm like, like I've got issues with the English language.
But she doesn't miss a beat on a designer.
That's
she
the
will
thing,
pronounce.
yeah. Funny how that works.
Marlo and Sheree to me both have like speech impediments, like really slight speech impediments that I hear even when they go like on Watch What Happens Live. Like I can hear a slight speech impediment there for both of them.
I see it with Sheree. I think she has like a stutter or something like that. But Marlo, I feel like she's kind of like Nene versus the word bridesmaids. Like some words she just doesn't know.
Okay, so that's funny that you say that because so Nene's really great at what's called other words, right? You throw something at Nene, she's gonna throw it back at you. Kenya is always gonna give you like an intellectual read. Kandi is gonna try to read you with the truth. But Marlo and Sheree are the same type of readers. They repeat what you say, so they don't necessarily have like a new piece of shade for you, but they'll repeat it. Which is why when they fought, it was
Oh, yeah.
They're the same type of reader. They're not quick on their feet.
Yeah, and they didn't have anything to give original. You're right. So yeah, oh my God. Yeah, it went to gibberish.
Gibberish real quick. I think you guys are right, but let's hope they step it up for the rest of the season or the future going forward. I know there are a couple of people who want for Sheree to be gone next season and for Marlo to be gone as well. Do you guys think that's a possibility? And we're asking you in the chat as well.
Yes. Well, I would say for Sheree, no, I like when the OGs are on the show. I like Sheree on the show. I want Cynthia back. Like I like the OGs. I would like to see Marlo demoted. I would like to see her back to a friend of the show. And then I would like to see how she interacts. If it changes how she comes at Kandi and how she approaches the show.
What about you, Mims?
Yeah, I don't mind when they bring back the OGs. I'm absolutely sure Portia is coming back next season. Like they are promoting the heck out of her. I'm not going to be mad at it because I just don't think that Marlo has been a good enough villain. And that's problematic for a show. Like you have to really want to love to hate somebody. And I don't think that's her. I think she's, like Layla said, a better like sidekick.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, her villain story is not making sense. Yeah, it's not
Mhm.
enough.
And this episode was another example of that. You know, like they gave her the floor at the Gucci thing, which we will get to, and we still just are not connecting with her reason for being upset at Kandi. But
Yeah.
that is getting a little bit too far ahead of ourselves. So let's back things up to Drew. So she wants to shoot a music video for this song that she's got coming up, and she's working with the same director who shot the music video for Step It Up or Step Up. And yeah, so that kind of went viral over the weekend. People like being like, "Oh my God, did you remember Drew being in that music video and whatnot?" Like, did you guys remember that? Are you excited for her to put out some new music? No?
Well, okay, so here's the thing. I think when you are trying to put out something in present day that is a throwback to maybe like the 2000s, I don't know if you are actually going to achieve what you wanted to achieve. Like there is a specific sound now for R&B that sells. So you're investing your own money, you're independent. You should probably invest more money and get a producer that has a beat that is very current if you are trying to sell. I
Mm-hmm.
like old school R&B, um, but I don't think that I don't think that they thought it through. It definitely gave throwback. I like her voice. I want her to do well, but I don't know if, using a director from the 2000s, music from the 2000s is going to sell records.
I
Mm-hmm.
would say if you want to do a throwback, you have to put in a sample. Like throw it all the way back, like make it
Mhm.
very clear that this is a throwback, put in a sample and do it that way. Because there's a lot of songs I hear with like samples from like 90s, 2000s R&B, and they sound good today. So you put in a sample, from that era, and then your own music with it. I think that could,
Everybody's doing that.
yeah. So
Exactly.
she's no different from everybody else.
Yeah, no, I'm
Mhm.
saying everybody is doing that. Like you're right on trend, Layla.
I could see it too because Drew has a beautiful voice. We did not get to see it showcased when she did that, like, kind of mommy, like, sing him a little tune, baby, with Candace. But like, she can sing. So I would
Candace was
love
mommy.
right? That was just like the most strange like way to showcase her. It was horrible. Like she's such a talented singer and she's got like years in the industry. Like to put her out like that, come on now. Um,
Yeah.
guys, what did you think about the She by Sheree thing? Rihanna apparently supports She by Sheree. Does she have any? Was Sheree able to get some to her, or was she even serious, or was it sarcastic? I read it as sarcasm.
I know, right? Rihanna's so funny to me. I took it like a half joke. Like she's not hating. Like it was a half joke, half supportive. But I took it more like, Rihanna's just a funny girl. But good for
Mhm.
Sheree. Like, I don't think if you ask me, I don't think Rihanna has She by Sheree. I don't think Sheree, made that connection to actually sent her some because I feel like Rihanna would probably post it. Like, y'all look at this. So I don't think Sheree has that business acumen to actually get Rihanna to wear She by Sheree.
Mhm.
Layla took the
Yeah.
words out of my mouth. Because the first thing I would have done would have been to send her, what size do you need? I'm sending some to you, ASAP, the babies.
Yes.
Uh I would then start posting all these pictures of Rihanna. Whatever. Like,
Yes.
yeah, she's not there.
Right. I felt the same way. I was like, this is the opportunity of a lifetime. Freaking Rihanna has your name in her mouth, your
Yes.
brand's name. Like everyone loves her. It could be like the running joke between people, but like you're running to the bank, like go ahead, like cash in. But that's the thing about She by Sheree. Remember when she tried to bring us to her warehouse that was probably like a shared space with a bunch of other people? I don't think she's got inventory like that.
Is it print on demand? Like, what's going on? We know some of it is, wholesale, like the Shein type of stuff, but some of
Mhm.
it, is it print on demand? Like, what's going on? What is it?
I feel like it should be. The sweatshirt should be. She would be smart to have it as print on demand so that she's not holding on to the inventory and having too much risk. When I saw the bag that Drew wanted, I wanted the bag too. I was like, I would love that bag, but she's missed opportunity. She's not actually selling it. She's a very strange woman that way.
Yeah, she is.
I don't
Hmm.
think
It's
that
like it's
Sheree is the
more.
swiftest. Sorry. I
No.
don't think she's like the swiftest. And I think that this show has made her into like a caricature, and I don't like that. Like I want her to have a team of people who say, okay, you've been a running joke. Let's make sure moving forward, they fired you a few times. You're going to be on point. Your fashion's going to be on point. You're going to brand everything exceptional. We're going to have your servers up and ready. That's what I really hoped for Sheree. And instead, we're getting like Marlo's sidekick.
But didn't Kandi try to do that for Sheree last season? Didn't she try to get her on point? She was like, you have the biggest brand that's not a brand. Like, I feel like Kandi tried to give her that last season and she didn't accept it.
I don't know what it is. She's always on the wrong team.
Always. Like, she is a professional at that. Like, if you were into gambling, which I hope you're not, find a team that Sheree or like the color she's betting on or the numbers and do the opposite. You'll win. Oh my God.
She may not be back next season. Do you think, guys? Because she put all her chips on Kim Zolciak and that flopped season 10. They brought her back and she's investing everything into Marlo, which we're seeing is not the greatest idea. Do you think that this will be history repeating itself if they don't bring her back next season?
Absolutely. I think so. What has she brought so far to the table? I can't name anything.
I was watching Carlos King's podcast and he made a good point, like how she had the OG dinner on this episode. It was like the first time she's actually presented herself as an OG, like bringing something to the table. She doesn't really do that. She doesn't give you like, I'm here vibes. I'm here to stay. This is my show. She was on season 1. You know what I mean? And she doesn't give you that vibe. So even though I do want her to come back, because I enjoy her on the show, I wouldn't be surprised if she didn't come back. I would not be surprised. I wouldn't.
But she'll be ready for season 20 when they bring her back again.
I would not be surprised. Give her some time. Like, they cycle her anytime they're desperate and they need like a placeholder, they will bring her back for that. I did see a comment earlier. By the way, thank you guys all so much for joining us. We had to reschedule this week, but we will be back to our regular Mondays at 10 a.m. Eastern next week moving forward. So thank you guys so much for sticking here with us. Shannon Nicole, thank you so much for joining my channel membership. That's amazing. So happy to have you there. Justice had Justice, we're going to get to your comment later. I wanted to get to East Awesome because it's a great question. How do you guys, and you in the chat as well, how do you feel about Courtney? Is she growing on you?
Like a fungus.
Oh, look at you guys. Oh my God. I like her so far now. I'm like, her voice still, it goes right through my body. But like, I'm getting it now. I'm understanding why they're keeping her in. Like, I feel like she's sucking up, because we're going to get into how she supposedly is helping hook Marlo up with someone to expunge her record. Guys, why does Marlo need someone's help to do that? Does she not have two assistants?
Grace, I was just about to ask you that. Why does it take Courtney coming on the show to introduce Marlo to an attorney? Like, why, Marlo, why does she have these connections on her own? Like, that doesn't make sense to me. But I do want to say, I understand Marlo wanting, because she said because she's a convicted felon, she can't carry. And I do want to say, I do understand her wanting to be able to carry and protect herself and protect her nephews. Like, it makes sense why now it's a priority for her to be able to carry because of, her getting robbed and stuff like that. I want to say, I do understand that, but I don't understand why she couldn't connect the dots on her own.
Right. Like, she was with a billionaire. She's always bragging. He couldn't have. Oh, what is that?
I just put in expunging your record in Atlanta. And all of these things came up. It's not that difficult to do if you really wanted to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
You can find all these boosted clothes, but you can't get a lawyer to expunge your record.
Exactly. I don't understand. And like, it's everybody's fault around her. No one is doing this. No one is doing that. Marlo, like, you don't really have a job. And then you've got all these assistants. Like, what's holding you up from doing it?
Is she not a business owner? Is it real? I mean, I don't know.
Can I ask you this, Grace?
Yeah.
Since you said Courtney is growing on you, towards the end, we see her saying, I don't want to talk about Marlo because that's my friend or whatever. But we've seen all the instances where you talk about all the other women with Marlo. So yeah, I can't get with her because she's putting all of her eggs in the Marlo basket as well. And I don't quite understand it.
It's true. She's not going to be there for a long time, okay? But I like her for the short time right now that we do have her and that she has grown on me. Because this episode, I felt like we saw her make amends with Kandi, kind of like, extend the olive branch for a second time. Because Kandi was being a little bit weird when Courtney came out last week to check on her by the car. And so for Courtney to still be in a positive like mood towards her and try to like, I really thought that was big of her. Because I wouldn't have. Like the way Kandi shrugged her off, I would have been like, all right, cry on your own then. You know what I mean?
I would have been Kandi. You started some stuff with me, and that's just it. Until you like come back and apologize sincerely, I don't need it from you. I don't need you at all.
Yeah, I felt Kandi too. She was like, thank you, I guess. Like, it's like, okay, I guess. But, I do appreciate that later Kandi was like, she did appreciate Courtney coming out like that. She's bigger than me.
Because I don't like when the housewives of any franchise are like a dog with a bone and they want to hold a grudge throughout the whole season and ice people out. I like people who can apologize, accept apologies, and move forward. And so that was really good to me in terms of how the rest of the season is going to shape up. Mims, what is her connection to the group? Why did they even bring her here anyway? Courtney.
It started off as Sheree's friend and then turned into Ralph's cousin, but she has definitely been used as a tool by the producers to move storylines along. And that's why she got to host an event as a friend. We've never seen her house, her lifestyle, or anything. And she's in every scene. And now she's also been to the cast trip. So only thing we know about her is her baby daddy was an R&B singer from the 90s that Kenya thinks has lost his looks. That's all we know. I like group theory, but you know what I mean? It didn't connect me to Courtney.
Right. It's kind of like you labeled it. They keep putting a new title on her to make it make sense why she's there, right? It's Sheree's friend, then it's the cousin, then it's the baby mama of this guy. Like, and nothing's really popping off for her that way. But she's still here. So I wonder, why do they want her here so much? It's interesting.
Do you guys think the producers were ready for Kandi to go? Do you guys believe that this was like Kandi's takedown season?
No.
I won't say her takedown season, but I do think the producers do want somebody to make it difficult for Kandi. And I've shared before, it's my opinion that everybody on the show has to have like a nemesis. It has to be somebody that triggers everybody on the show. So I do think Courtney, I think they kept her. I don't know why they casted her, but I think they kept her so far because she does trigger Kandi. So I do think the producers want Kandi to be triggered. Like they want redhead Kandi. Like they want it from her.
Redhead Kandi. See, that I can get with, like they want her to like bring more whatever passion to the table with someone, but I don't see them wanting to get rid of her entirely because I just don't know who would hold up RHOA or hold, you know what I mean, without her at this point.
We can't leave it to Sheree. We already discussed that. It's not Sheree. And I don't know who else it would be. If it's not Kandi, who else would it be?
Yeah, definitely not Kenya. Kenya, she's great as a villain and everything, but I don't see her as like a star, a protagonist that like would, draw viewers or unite people or anything like that.
Yeah.
I root for Kenya, but a lot of people don't like her. I like her.
I like her too, yeah.
She has her moments. You guys, we have a super chat from the L Factor over here. Thank you so much, L, for your super chat. Elle says, but the thing is, Sheree doesn't like to pay, so she will never be able to have a team or take her business to the next level. That is a thing that really, kind of like stops her. Wasn't this mentioned again on Watch What Happens Live? I think Andy said it to her face that she doesn't like to pay people over some kind of comment. Yeah.
He called her Trumpian.
What?
He called her Trumpian. I think it was at a reunion. And because she doesn't like to pay, and she was like, I pay the people who deserve to be paid, I think was her exact response.
So weird.
Yeah, you gotta pay people. If you want a team, you gotta pay the team. Like nobody works for free or for the look or whatever you call it. You got to pay people.
Exactly. And I think, like L Factor said, that's like her biggest kind of like barrier to success. You gotta spend money to make money a lot of times.
Yeah.
Now, you guys, we've got another super chat, this time from Brian Grow. Thank you, Brian, for this super chat. Brian says, what's Sanya's purpose on the show? That was going to be my next question too. Do you guys see her as too much of a sorry guys, do you guys see her as too much of a fence rider?
She doesn't ride the fence. She definitely is Team Marlo, and she's on that side. So,
but she pretends in Kandi's face. She pretends to ride the fence. No.
Somebody said to be aggravating.
To be aggravating. You know, I
don't get it. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Grace.
No, I'm with you. Like disappointed. It's like I don't understand like it either because I loved her as a track fan, loved her, but like seeing her on the show, I prefer her dynamic with her family versus her dynamic with the girls.
Yeah. Did you watch her Green and Gold show? Was that the name of it? Sanya's Green and Gold, her reality show with her family. No,
I didn't watch it. No, I never got around to watching it. But like on RHOA, I like the dynamic.
Oh, I feel the same. I do. I don't know. Yeah, her family dynamic is funny, but on this show, I'm just like, Sanya don't even live in Atlanta. Like, girl, where is your husband?
Where does she live?
I feel like they live in Austin. Like her husband is in Austin running the business because they really live in Austin. I feel like that's a rental home, like an Airbnb in Atlanta. And they're all just staying there while they film, but they are not Atlanta. Like, you know that song? I forget who made it. Was it Amaretta? That song that came out, such and such is not Atlanta. I feel like Sanya is not Atlanta. I feel like she doesn't even live there.
Okay, that would explain a lot then. That would explain a lot. So does that mean that her family drama is all kind of like for show and then they pack it up and go back to their real house all together at the end of the season?
That's my opinion.
I think they all live together. I think they all live together. Yeah. I don't see it for Sanya or Sanya. I don't. Sorry. I think she's like beautiful. I like that she's in a happy, healthy relationship with her husband and son. And I don't mind the closeness with the family, but there's something that doesn't attract me to what she's giving. Like, if you're going to be bold and say stuff about people's booty, just say it. You know, like, that's what we want in household.
That's the fence. Okay, didn't Kenya say, okay, this girl called me for her advice? She didn't say watch what happens live, but she said she called me for advice on going on this show. And then we realized the show was watch what happens live. So this is how you ride the fence. You call Kenya for advice on what to do and watch what happens live. Then you get on the show and throw Kenya under the bus. That's riding the fence.
And Andy had to do that. Andy had to move that episode along because she's not that interesting. So to make it interesting, he threw out a question like that and she took the bait. That's the problem.
Yeah. You're right. She could have said anything. Like Kenya told her, she could have said, I don't know. I ain't worried about that girl's booty. You know what I'm saying? She could have said anything. But yeah, she took the bait.
It's true. I find, and I don't mean it in a bad way, I find that's like the thirsty side of her that like just speaks before thinking a little bit, you know, just for like the buzz or the fun or the this or the that. That gets her in trouble because I listened to her on the new Watch What Happens Live that just aired last night or whatever. And it was kind of similar. They brought up the butt again. And then again, she, you know, kind of like twerked on the fences, you know, as Campfire likes to say. So I forgot to give you guys some context. So Kandi called Sanya a fence rider during their lunch together. They went to OLG. Neither of them got shot, thankfully. And this is where Kandi brought it up. and so they got into Marlo. What did I say? Now they get into Marlo expecting things from Kandi. And Kandi's like, I can't be too like emotional, sentimental, because when I was young, my brother died. I was 15 years old and I had to keep it moving. So this is how I operate. What did you guys think about like that explanation?
I want to first say Sonya's not my favorite, or Sanya's not my favorite. However, in that moment, I started to see how she reacts to people who she deems are in pain. So her initial reaction when Kandi started crying was to cry. So I believe that Marlo was able to kind of coax her into thinking that this was a real issue for her. And that's why she's riding so hard for this issue. Sanya is the type of person that Marlo wanted to hear this story and react to it. So in that moment, I was like, okay, I'm giving Sanya a little bit of a reprieve because you're connected. Kandi, ma'am, you are an emotional person. You may not, like, she cries at the, once that voice starts to quiver. I do think she's emotional, but I side with Kandi in the sense that you can't tell Kandi how to show support for somebody, right? You may want her to buy you flowers, but that may not be what she does. She might, send your nephew some cards, like she'll come in the moment and hug you. It just doesn't make sense as to why this is 8 episodes. We're 8 episodes in still talking about this.
We know you need it to make sense.
I do.
Makes sense. Yes, I understand that. For me, for Kandi, it made me feel like when she said her brother, passed away the next day she went to school, it made me feel like, okay, Candy's very busy. And it just made me feel like, okay, is part of the reason Kandi is so busy is because she doesn't want to face her emotions. Like, is she just the type of person that stays busy so they don't have to face, certain things in their life that they don't like? It made me wonder. Are you like that?
Yeah.
Yes. Stopping is what really gets me down. I have to keep moving. I have to keep pushing. And if I'm ever just still, it's a bad day. So I get it.
Sometimes I wonder why people don't stop to ask themselves, maybe, if something's going on in someone else's life, with all that Marlo's criticizing about Kandi, maybe Candy's got something going on in her own life, like you guys are mentioning. Why does Marlo never ask her, how are you doing? I don't think we've seen her really ask those sorts of questions because, sometimes people are not able to be there for you because they've got their own things going on. You know what I mean? And so that's kind of disappointing, to be honest with you guys, to see that play out at times.
Grace is on it. You were coming to this woman. I don't know if Kandi ever thought she would be married and have children again, but what we do know is that she was a great mom to Riley. Now, this was her ride or die, her best friend, filmed scenes with this girl, and now she's going to New York. She was packing her daughter up to send her away for the first time to college, and she's telling you this. I'm sure that was something emotional for Kandi because, like I said, Riley was her ride or die.
Yeah. I remember a season of her showing off Riley's new apartment and everything. Was that an emotional kind of episode? Do you think that Kandi has shared enough about her emotional journey with sending her daughter off to university? Because I remember Sonia Morgan from RHOA being really emotional about it. I know Giselle with her daughters starting to graduate from high school. That's an emotional journey for her that she kind of shows. Are we seeing that with Kandi?
I don't know. I feel like we see Kandi's emotions at times that people think is comical. Like she cries when she's mad. So we see her emotions when she's mad. I don't know if we really see her emotions in emotional situations, like her daughter going to college or things like that. I think she might, have a wall up. That's what I think.
So do you think that she doesn't give enough of her emotional self to RHOA? Is that what people mean sometimes when they say that she's not giving enough?
I won't say that. I won't say everything.
No, continue, Layla.
Oh, okay. Then you got to say it again because I ain't hear you. I don't want to say she's not giving enough because she gives her whole family to this show. So I'm not going to say she's not giving enough. But what did you say,
I said she's giving everything. We then got the baby daddy drama played out, dealing with Riley not having a relationship with her father, her initial dude dying and then taking his children in, all the stuff with Todd and Mama Joyce, even though we're tired of it, that was her reality. Mama Joyce throwing that shoe at her wedding dress rehearsal. She's
Carmen.
Yeah. She's given a lot. I think that she's smart in the sense that maybe do more about your businesses on this show while you have the time, as opposed, and let everything else kind of naturally come. I don't think that she ever thought that Mama Joyce was going to pull those stunts, but she did. And she went through it, and brought us spinoffs with the same drama. Very few people can say they've given their reality on the reality show like Kandi Burruss. And even her, sex positivity, to the point that she has taken it, is, she opens up. No pun intended.
What do the girls mean when they say she's not giving enough and she's only here to promote her businesses? I don't understand.
I don't agree with businesses. Which they don't have any businesses? Yeah. I think it's a lot of jealousy. I hate to say it because I always hate to accuse people of being jealous, but then sometimes I realize they are. And so I do think it is some jealousy when it comes to Kandi. And I think it's more about her lifestyle, like growing up, the fact that it sounds so sad to say, but the fact that she has a supportive mother, even though Mama Joyce, acts a fool, like she was supportive to Kandi. Like she said, she raised a millionaire. Like she supported Kandi.
What'd you say about my mama, Layla?
Kandi has a supportive mother. And like I've heard, different women, like I remember Keisha Cole was saying the same thing about Brandy, like how Keisha Cole, she's like, I made it, even though, my mother was out there, on drugs and stuff. I didn't have a supportive mother. So I do think sometimes people can be on the same like platform, like on the same show. But I do think Marlo is jealous of Kandi, and it's not necessarily money. I think it's the fact that Kandi has a supportive mother.
Mm-hmm.
As wild as Mama Joyce may be, Marlo doesn't have that.
Okay, I could see that. But then now Sheree's coming in with the same talking points as Marlo, that Kandi didn't do XYZ for me, but she's got a supportive mother. I remember her mom coming in when she was living in that apartment with the air mattresses.
Yeah.
And putting her name in her house.
Yeah, she put the
putting her house in her name. Sorry.
Exactly. But that's the thing with Sheree, you guys. I think she just mirrors people because she doesn't have her own personality. Because even at her own brunch, she's supposed to be keeping the peace and everything. And then Kenya starts choking on BS. And what does Sheree, who is supposed to be the neutral party, she starts giving her the Heimlich maneuver. She's just she's lost, I feel like, as a person. This is it.
I feel like sometimes you can't help it though. When your friend acting a fool, you can't help it join in. I give Sheree a pass on that because that was funny to me. And I felt like low key, I would have done that.
I really?
Yes. Because girl, what? You choking? Come on. I got you.
Sometimes Kenya does throw something out. Remember when she was duck walking, when she was chasing after Portia that season? And she's talking about, oh, I'm on your level now. I'm on your level. And she's duck walking.
No.
That was hilarious to me.
Oh my God. I have to go back and watch that. Is that her first season or is that like a bit after?
This was the season where Portia or Kenya and Phaedra had gotten cool. And so Phaedra had said, Portia is working on herself, y'all. She's in anger management. And the girls were trying to push Portia to talk about it. And Portia fled the scene and Kenya chased her. And then, she got down and started duck walking, saying, I'm on your level. I'm on your level now.
Oh my God. Kenya is funny. All right. She is a mess. Problematic fave. Now, you guys, just a reminder, we're here on our weekly Real Housewives of Atlanta recap with Make It Make Sense and Layla Lynn. Please do make sure to support their channels as well. They are absolutely incredible. They cover pop culture news, reality television news, music news, anything interesting. It is on their channels on a consistent basis. So please do follow them. I've got their channels tagged in the title of my video. And their links are also in the description of my video as well if you want to follow them across social media. And you guys, we're almost 1,000 people in here. Could we please get some likes going just to help make sure that our videos continue to get served in your algorithms? Thank you guys so much for all of your support. Now, we've got some super chats as well that I want to get to. Adrian, thank you so much for your super chat. Boom, boom, boom. That is so kind of you. I want to thank Reese as well for your super chat. Yes, the coin is rolling, y'all. Reese says, no one talks about Sanya's nose job. Does Sanya have a nose job? I'm looking it up.
Oh my God.
And
Do we need to cover that?
is it a good nose job? I mean, what do we need to talk about with it? Unless it's, oh, you know what this might be in response to? Sanya's answers about Kenya's fake butt. Maybe like Ree means, why does Kenya bring up her nose job? I don't know. Her nose looks really natural to me. So if she has a nose job, it's a really good one. So
I'm
maybe
gonna have to
that's why.
remember that. I have to.
Mhm.
Yeah, I need to look into that. I need to look into that. That's interesting to me. If she stayed in Kenya, but then she has plastic surgery as well, I need to look
I know
into
we're
that.
not to that. I know we're not to that scene yet, but like there's levels to plastic surgery, right? So there's things that people are willing to talk about. Present
Mhm.
day, the BBL is like almost a rite of passage. Everybody talks about it. But for Kenya's era, Marlo, those people, they got them and they never wanted to talk about that. They'll talk about their breast, but the butt is something. They asked Portia, she denied it. Marlo got mad and denied it. Kenya has never actually talked about it. Nene got hers, but she got hers for free. So she had to talk about it. Sheree is, she talks about her plastic surgery, but she's never talked about anything that she might have gotten done down there. It's just that era does not want to talk about a BBL. They'll talk about every other enhancement, but nobody really wants to. Nowadays, if you don't have one, then you probably won't have a rap career. And I know somebody saving up for one right now.
Oh, really? In your like personal life? Well, they are super common. I remember going on a flight somewhere. I don't remember where I was coming from, and like all the men had like their heads because they had gone their like hair thing, and then the women they'd be like, oh, like this. They couldn't sit on their thing. They were like kneeling on their plane seats and whatnot, or lying on their stomachs. So there are like a lot of like like Mims is saying, it's almost a rite of passage at this point. I wonder if it's also like being a black woman as well, like just the idea of a BBL or whatever as a black woman. It's kind of like when black women get like lip injections, there's just this idea that we all have big butts and we all have full lips. So if you do, X, Y, or Z, it's weird. You know what I mean? Like, I wonder if that adds like another layer of kind of like pressure to it. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good question. I feel like Kenya, we were talking right before the show. I feel like Kenya doesn't have a BBL. I feel like she low-key has implants. I feel like this is my opinion. I don't know for sure. But like how they mentioned the shape of her butt doesn't change if she gains weight, loses weight. I feel like Kenya, before the BBL became popular, I feel like Kenya actually has implants, which some girls have to do if they're really slim. They have to get implants instead of a BBL. In my opinion, that's what I see on Kenya. And I feel like she doesn't want to admit it, but she also doesn't have to. Like it's her body,
Yes.
it's her booty.
Yes.
Mhm.
It's I'm sorry, it's effing wrong that this has been the butt of the joke for Andy Cohen for all these years. Like, if the woman is not going to talk about it, she's not going to address it. Why do you continue to do it? I don't understand
Leave it
it.
alone. Yeah, leave it alone. I
Yeah.
get that.
Great question. It's always like being brought up unprovoked, like completely unrelated to anything being discussed. Very good question.
Because she's pretty. That's the problem. Because she's pretty. If they can take a jab at her skin or her butt, they will. But if she just went up to ugly people and started saying, "Wow, you don't have great features," or "Wow, why does your hairline look like this?" or "Wow," you know what I mean? It's weird. I'm sorry. It's super weird to go after this woman's looks all the time. Just saying.
Yeah. Don't forget her hair. Remember how many times we had to run our fingers through Kenya's hair to make sure it was real? Like a black girl can have long hair, please. Anything to bring our girl down. Speaking of her, what is this situation with the embryos and wanting to have a second child with Mark? What do you
Oh my
guys?
God. Oh my God, Grace. Oh my God. I was like, what am I watching? First of all, okay, I always had this feeling that Kenya married Mark because she wanted kids. And you guys remember that season where she was in like the sperm bank with her best friend and she was thinking about having a sperm donor. But then when she went to the reunion and Phaedra shaded her so hard, I feel like she shamed her. I feel like Kenya got ashamed to use a sperm donor. So she waited. She got married. Like she had a child, the traditional way people say you should do, like get married and have a child. You know what I mean? Now look. And so I kind of feel like in a way she did use Mark to have a child. And the fact that she would have another child with him, even though she's not technically with him, to me is like that bothered me to see that. And the fact that she was like, technically, I own the embryos, I own the child. Like, okay, this is life you're talking about. This is not like I own this house. This is life.
Yeah.
It bothered me to see that.
Mm-hmm.
I was triggered so bad watching this episode, but also in a good way because I was like, okay, at least we could talk about something else. Because I mean, it was just so much. Her willing to risk her life again, you know, just to have another baby by this man she's not even with. Like it was so much in that tiny scene. It was like so much.
Mm-hmm. So what did you think about her wanting to carry it at like, you know, again, like at her age, especially knowing she almost like passed away having Brooklyn? Like, what's the point of risking your life to have another child to potentially leave 2 children without a mother? You know, like, I don't know.
It kind of feels like Kenya's a traditionalist, right?
Mm-hmm.
She wants her children by the same father. She wants to carry the baby herself. I thought it was strange considering I think she said she had preeclampsia and almost died in childbirth. So I'm super happy that she has Brooklyn because you can see that that's what she always wanted. You guys know I believe in therapy, and oftentimes you become the antithesis of what your parents were that you did not like. So I think in her situation, she needed a baby so that she could give to somebody else what she never got from her mom. But wanting another baby with the Mark of all people, like to me, if she were actually just saying, hey, I still have some embryos left that we did not add Mark's DNA to, let's see about doing something like that. But to think that you are going through a 5-year divorce with this man and now you want to have another baby with him, it doesn't make sense to me. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't want to speak on what it means to be a mom because I'm not a mom. So I don't know what she wants to give her daughter, but just from what she's choosing to share with us, nose ring Mark is trash. So even though Brooklyn is great, I don't think that that's the right road because he will take you to court for child support and anything else he can get from you.
Exactly. He's like already after her house. Isn't she having to sell it just to like, you know, potentially pay him out or whatever, be done with it? It's a lot. I felt like it was kind of derogatory the way that she said that she wanted the kids to have the same father. Not the actual thing, but the way she said it, something about it kind of felt a little off or judgy of women who are not in that similar situation as well. And I don't know. I've kind of felt like, look at the man you're dealing with. Do you really want to like start over and like deal with this, you know, even longer than you have to? It's just, I don't get it.
This is a Kardashian lady. She knows the Kardashians. I know you were getting Chloe vibes from this situation.
Yes, that's what it felt like. Like, look at Courtney, right? Like she found a new love and she's having a kid and she's so happy and excited about it. And there's nothing wrong with it. The Kardashians themselves, they've got half siblings, right? In Kendall and Kylie, and they love them like full sisters. So I don't understand why they see it as such a horrible, you know, sort of a thing. If you have multiple baby mamas, baby daddies, like, you know, then it gets a little, ooh. But if it's just like, you know, another one or like a, you know, second marriage or whatever, like, I don't see the problem.
And I feel like you stop yourself from finding true love when you're stuck on that traditionalist type of thing. Then it's like, okay, I'm only going to have children by this man. But it might be another man out there that really love you and actually parent your children with you. Because we know Mark doesn't actually participate in the parenting, but it could be
of any of his children.
Really? Have they come out? The other ones?
Didn't one come out?
I don't remember them coming out, but I don't ever see you posting them. You wanted nothing to do basically with Brooklyn. Now you're fighting for money. He's just a trash individual. Put him in the same trash can with what is it? Applehead Ralph, Blockhead Ralph. Like, I'm tired of these husbands that are trash. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry, Layla.
Give them no more babies. Why you say sorry, Layla? Wait a minute.
No, because I interrupted you. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
But that's the thing, you know, on the other side, there are some women who want to have 100% control of their kids. And I think that applies. Is that Sheree or is that Hazel E?
Oh, the fact that you have to ask, I think it's Hazel E.
I think so
It's
too.
Sheree in my head, but no, it's
Oh.
Hazel. Y'all are right. It's
You know, I think that Kenya and Khloe Kardashian, they fall into that thing of like they want to have 100% control of the kid, and that's why they're okay with kind of like, you know, just doing it for the sake of having two kids with the same dad who's super duper hands off. But good luck, Kenya. I don't see it happening. What about you, Layla?
Should have used a sperm bank. If you want 100% control, those men have said they're okay with having offspring out there and they're not in their lives. So use a sperm bank. I feel bad that Kenya got shamed like that. Like this episode really made me realize, dang, she really took Phaedra to heart. She really felt ashamed of using a sperm donor. And so she really did try to get married, you know, brought all the stress into her life. And she's willing to have another child by a man that does not participate in the parenting.
Mm-hmm.
So just,
And
you know,
well, speaking of that, you mentioned, you know, her being genuinely hurt by Phaedra's disgusting read. Why was that read so celebrated, especially by Andy Cohen? Because Andy Cohen, as a gay man, needed to have an egg donor and a woman to carry his kids. So I never understood why he found it funny. And then Phaedra's situation being with a felon, like her of all people judging someone. I don't understand why it was. Didn't he do a countdown of the best reads of all time? And that was number one. That was shocking.
Yeah, it was celebrated by Andy Cohen and the audience as well. Like a lot of people love that read. And I don't know if it was the delivery or the content. I don't know what it was, but looking back, I feel like it really affected Kenya's decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And so at the time, did I think it was funny? Maybe I got a chuckle. I'm not gonna say I didn't chuckle, but you know, looking back at it, you know, it just seems like it really affected Kenya, and I can see that.
Phaedra got knocked up on an air mattress in a halfway house. Let's put it into perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And then lied about her due date.
Y'all never okay.
That's the thing, right? Like that woman talking about, oh, my child is ready at 6 months to be pulled out, just so that she could avoid telling the truth, which is that she got pregnant out of wedlock, and like Mim says, in a halfway house on an air mattress. You know, like come on. Oh, guys. Now, thank you guys, by the way, all for being here with us. We are almost 1,000 in the house. So please, 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 if you're enjoying our stream, do make sure to give it a thumbs up. We would greatly appreciate it. And it also helps you guys find our videos a little bit easier as well in the future. Let's YouTube know that you enjoy our content, right? So if you're watching on my channel, please give it a thumbs up. On Mims's channel, thumbs up. Layla's as well, you guys. Now, Justice McAdoo had a comment earlier, which was asking us to rank the ladies' Gucci outfits. Thank you for this comment, Justice. Justice was the first comment of the whole stream, right? Like she commented like yesterday. So I do have them here in case you guys forgot what the girls were wearing. And this applies to you guys in the chat as well. Who was your favorite outfit for the Gucci brunch? Let's start with you, Layla.
My favorite, let me take a look. It might be between Sanya. Is Marlo in this picture, Grace?
No, I just realized Marlo's not in the picture, but she was in like head to toe brown leather. It was a really good look with the cat eye glasses. Let me see if I got a photo of her.
She wasn't missed.
Because I like that. I don't love the glasses, but I liked her outfit and Sanya's outfit. And then I would say Sheree a third. I do agree. Kenya looked like not Kenya. Kandi looked like she was bowling. I do agree that, you know, the way Drew is wearing this purse, her fashion sense like irks me. Like I watch, you know, a lot of the fashion girls on YouTube, and it's like, this is not how you wear this purse. That's not how you wear it, girl. So that kind of triggers me. I don't know if Kenya is wearing Gucci. Kenya says she's wearing Gucci, but she doesn't do, you know, monogram.
Yeah.
But I do like what Kenya's wearing. Shout out to Chanel.
What about you, Mims? How would you rank? Who was your favorite? I'm going to put Marlo up as well.
You can take her down.
Oh.
I kind of like Sanya's outfit and I like Kenya's outfit. I agree with Kenya. I mean, sometimes I do, what is it called? Label mania. Sometimes I'm guilty of it, but my preference is not to in every situation. Can you put the picture back up one more time?
Sure, no problem.
Sheree
Wait.
and Kenya are like 53, 50-year-old women. Can we just talk about how the fact that good black don't crack? This is what 54 looks like. They
Mhm.
look better than the women half their age. They are like 54 years old. So shout out to them. I was with Marlo's reads though. Sheree did look like a court reporter. Um I didn't, so I'm giving it to Kenya and Sanya. I
Kenya and
do
Sanya.
like
Mhm.
the collab with between Adidas and Gucci, but
Mhm.
I did not like Kandi's outfit.
I'm with you guys, to be honest. Sonya to me was my fave look. It was very fresh because remember, this is brunch. So to me, Kenya and Sheree, their outfits are cute, but it's very like, okay, like let's have this brunch. I've got a meeting after this. You know what I mean? I agree with Marlo that Drew looked like the Gucci handyman. Um, Kandi looked like she was doing bowling. I did like Marlo's outfit, minus the glasses, like Layla said. I loved Sheree's look. I just wish the pants were not so like flared. But otherwise, I think they did a pretty good job. Even Courtney, I love the color palette she's wearing. It's very fresh. So yeah, they did a pretty good job. I was happy to see their Gucci outfits. It was a cute little theme, you know. So let me get to some of these super chats before we discuss what actually went down at the Gucci brunch. Drum roll, please. Let me get the ka-ching ka-ching sound effects out. Jennifer, thank you so much for your super chat. Jennifer says the embryos are the egg and sperm. She doesn't want to lose them, and I don't blame her. It takes a lot to even have successful embryos. I agree, especially at her age. Was she not starting the embryo or the egg retrieval process in her late 40s, I believe? So I could see why. It just sucks that she has them as embryos because now it's like, do you want them with him necessarily? Yeah, but good luck to Kenya. To be honest with you guys, I don't know. Like, I think it would be best for her to do a surrogate, but I didn't see her being all that enticed by it. Maybe next season we'll see her Kandi guide her through that journey if she's interested. You know, we never know. We got another super chat in the house. Thank you, Ree. Ree says Marlo's outfit looks like it was from the beauty supply store. Does it really?
A little bit. I think they knock off like the snake skin, like they knock it off so much that when you wear it, it actually looks a little bit cheap.
Okay. That reminds me of my brother. My brother hates leopard print, I think, like cheetah print or whatever. He says it has that same effect. He's like, it looks cheap. I hate it.
I think she could have done something more high fashion, right? Maybe if her hair was up or something like that, maybe less accessories. Like, she's the stylist. She could have made it look less beauty supply.
Yeah. But Marlo's kind of like nouveau rich, you know? So like she keeps it in that vibe. She doesn't,
Yeah.
I don't want to say she doesn't look classy, but like she likes like gaudy, I will say.
Yeah.
For Americans, we call it hood rich. She's hood
Hood
rich.
rich.
It's street style. Her style, she's a stylist, but it's street style. It's a little bit different.
She's not gonna give old money ever.
She might date it though.
Right. You gotta give it to her. Give her old money.
Exactly. And I am not mad at it. Girl, get your reparations now. So do you guys agree? Well, first of all, let's talk about this. How do you guys feel about, oh, by the way, it was a Gucci brunch, and guess what was not Gucci at the Gucci brunch? Okay. I think, yeah, Kenya was being shady. She doesn't love when people tell her how to dress or whatever. She'll always come off theme. Speaking of Kenya, how did you guys feel about the way she handled the brunch? I know she was yelling at Marlo quite a bit. She was calling her the B word and whatnot. Do you think it was warranted, or was it kind of like stifling conversation, her behavior?
I do think it was stifling. I feel like if you don't have, like, because it was supposed to be a Gucci brunch, like we're all Gucci. If you don't want to be Gucci, if you don't want to make up with people, it is kind of like, well, don't go. And I do feel like her commentary was stifling. I feel like she was justified the things she was saying, but maybe don't go if you don't want to be Gucci with everybody.
I agree. What about you, man?
I don't think she's ever gonna not be. I don't think she's ever gonna be Gucci with Marlo. This is the most that Marlo has gotten from Kenya all season. So you should be happy that you got something. You wanted something out of her. And if you notice, all of Marlo's confessionals are shading Kenya. So I did not mind that she actually was like, I'm going to shade you in real time.
That's true. I noticed that Marlo had nothing to say in person. She walked off. She seemed like she was going to cry. She had the Kandi shaky voice going on, but then like she calmed down and came back in. What was that about?
I do notice that with Marlo in person, like she wants to hug. Like last week, she wanted to hug Kandi and ask, "Are we okay?" It's like in person, she's a different person than she is, when that person is not there with her. So it's phony. It's phony. It's fake. It's all of that.
Well, it's some BS. It is some BS. It is a way to steal a scene. It's Housewife 101. If you don't necessarily have a response or the people in the group are not seeing it your way, then you get up and walk away. Each time she's come back, it's not like she shut that computer down like Nene and left. Moreover, she's only doing this now that she's a housewife, because when other seasons, case in point, Nene's last season, she begged and pleaded for Nene so that she could have her moment on camera with Kenya. Remember when she was spitting out the popcorn at her? This is what she's doing.
So it's
wait, what is that face, Layla?
No, that was just at that popcorn. Like, was that not disgusting? Like,
yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely a way to steal the scene when things aren't going your way. Even when they were talking to her about the stuff, I was like, are y'all seeing this? They asked what the problem was, and Kandi Sheree says, "Oh, you didn't get the flowers." Everybody is asking her the same question because nobody quite understands. Sanya is trying to take up for her, but the other people in the room are saying exactly what Drew and Kenya said. It was super frustrating.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I feel like I tuned out during this thing because it was like, oh, God, this is being brought up again. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Can we drop it and move forward? I know that someone, I think it was Marlo, who claimed that Drew and Kenya are Kandi's minions. How do you feel about the comment? Is it true?
I don't think they're minions. I do think they have their own beef with Marlo. Like, Marlo doesn't treat people right. Like, she did scream on Drew. And it was a situation where Drew couldn't even respond. Like, she screamed on Drew about her nephew who passed away. What is Drew supposed to say? You know what I mean? She couldn't even respond to that. So I do think the other ladies do have their own issues with Marlo. I don't think it's necessarily them speaking for Kandi.
What about you, Mims? Do you see like a minionness, or is it just them having their own beef as well?
It's an uncomfortable split, to be honest with you. It's always better when you can have at least one or two people on each side of the cast. This is uncomfortable. This took me back to like Puerto Rico with less interesting people, right? And if we can have Courtney there to discuss her issues with Kandi, then why wasn't Manetta there to discuss her issues with Marlo? I think they purposefully let her out, but they invited other friends of the show. I didn't like that.
I wondered about that.
It's a good question, but how many episodes have we seen Manetta in? I feel like we only saw her in what, like 2.5 episodes. So like she wasn't pulling her weight maybe, and that's why they cut her.
Manetta has a lifestyle. Go ahead and show us a Manetta barbecue. I follow her. I don't know anything about Courtney except all she could afford was one of those rooms where you try to get out, like the paint room. Do you know what I mean? Like I definitely, I can see where they are trying to get Courtney a peach or a bigger contract because she, kind of poked and nodded Kandi, but give Manetta some time too.
I would like to see it. But the thing about Manetta, I think I said this last week, I find her to be very like follower-ish. Like she has very awkward like things. Like, for example, there was a time when they were all in that place, like Alabama or whatever. And like Marlo was like slamming on the doors and stuff, knocking them. And Manetta was walking around on her phone. She would not put that stupid phone down. And I'm like, this doesn't look good on TV. Like it was happening too long. And then there was that other scene, I think it was last week, when Kandi's freaking out outside, or talking to Marlo in the escape room. And then Manetta's like trying to like hug on her. She's like, please get off me. Like, she's just very like awkward to me. I don't know. I don't vibe with her yet. I don't dislike her, but I don't vibe with her yet. I feel like.
Yeah. We need to see more. More.
Exactly. Now I'm trying to look at some, okay. So Sanya, like I think Mims was saying, she was trying to be the mediator. Kandi was not having it. Marlo is still, trying to get some, flowers or whatever it is. And Kandi just shut it down with one sentence: I don't have time. Is this finally the end of this storyline, you guys?
Well, Candy said it is on her Watch What Happens Live. She said this is the last episode of her beef with Marlo. So I hope she's right. I hope it is the end. But I also felt like Candy doesn't have time, and I feel like when you ask people like who are busy, like their time is tight, when you want time from them. Like when Marlo said last season, Candy sends the cash apps, but she wants Candy to spend time with her boys. It's like, why are you asking this person for time? If you know their time is tight, they have their own kids, and their own kids complain about them not spending time with them. Why are you asking this person for time? So I hope that did shut it down. I hope it did, but I don't know.
Well, my question that I had in my head this whole episode was, did somebody else send her flowers or something else? Did everybody else but Kandi send her flowers, or is it just it's only Kandi who should have? Like, what's the real beef here?
Marlo respects money and Kandi has it. That's why Marlo wants her children around. If you watch the interview with Jason Lee, Marlo was saying all kinds of things like, well, I just feel like, you could be one of my children's godparents and I'll be your children's god. There's a connection to money, and it doesn't even matter if the person is of any value or has any self-worth about them. It's just money, and Kandi has it on the cast. She wants her attention, she wants her time, and she wants her to do things for her. The thing is, Marlo, you're not laying on your back for Kandi. She doesn't have to do anything for you. And I think that her relationships with these wealthy people have made her feel like people owe her something, and it's just not realistic. She doesn't even like you like that.
Right. I don't like that. It's a very kind of gross kind of energy to put out there, it's just very fake, disingenuous. And it just, I don't know. It's not going to get her far, as you've already seen. You guys, thank you all so much for joining us. We've got a couple super chats I wanted to get into. Toya, thank you so much. Oh, sorry, bounce back. Toya says, let's not forget their last interactions. Kenya needed to say what she said to Marlo during the brunch. So the last interactions being Marlo slamming and kicking on Kenya's doors and then calling her broke and all that stuff, and like judging her for bringing her daughter to the cast trip and whatnot. So I totally see where you're coming from with that, Toya, for sure. I just wish Kenya got the chance to voice that. It felt like she was talking about Kandi's issues with Marlo more so than her own issues, which are serious in and of themselves. Jennifer, thank you for the super chat. Jennifer says, Kenya said she can use them, probably best with the surrogate. She said she gets them in the divorce, so he'd have no right over them or the child. So do you guys think it's a good idea? Like, so say Mark can have no say over the children, no child support, no this, no that. Should Kenya go ahead and put these embryos to work?
In my opinion, no. I understand why people are saying yes, but I do feel like also you're a little bit selfish. If you're thinking you could bring a child into this world, he donated the sperm. He's not necessarily a sperm donor, but like to bring a child into this world, knowing that the father is not going to be involved, it just seems a little bit selfish. Like her whole conversation about I own them threw me off. It seemed real legal. And I feel like when you're talking about life and talking about a child, it's bigger than legal.
Mm-hmm.
That's just my opinion. Nobody has to agree because like I wouldn't do it. You know what I mean? So nobody has to agree. You do what you do. But I just didn't feel it the way Kenya explained it.
What about you, Mems?
I agree with Layla. I wouldn't personally do it, but I'm starting to think like, okay, here's Kenya. She's 53, 54. She has a very young child. She wants to bring another child into the world. It may be because even though she's a great mom, we don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. And if Kenya, something, God forbid, happened to her, she's probably having those thoughts like, okay, now my child is on her own. You know what I mean? So maybe having a brother or sister, there are conversations. I do have friends who have had children at older ages or adopted at older ages, and they have these kind of conversations. They can be super great parents, but there are, some risks when it comes to what could happen when you have them later in life. So That's a tough one. I can't tell a woman what she can do with her embryos, but would I want a baby with nose ring mark? No. Nope.
That gets me every time. Honestly, I think I'm with you guys. I feel like my stance has always been I am not like dying for kids. You know what I mean? If the circumstances are not there, cool. Life is good already. So that's how I think. So if I were in her situation, I would just not do it. I don't think it's so serious, like a desire for kids, that you would bring them into something that's just not healthy for them simply for your own reasons. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't love it. We've got a new super chat here from Dr. Frida. Thank you so much, Dr. Frida. Let me find you the sound effect. Dr. Frida says, Kenya had my favorite look. I understand her wanting to use her embryos. She may need a surrogate because if you're over 50, you're at a high risk for hypertension and other pregnancy complications. Guys, when the doctor described what Kenya went through, bringing life to Brooklyn, I was like, geez, how are you not traumatized? My God.
It threw me back because I think I covered that. Like, Kenya almost lost her life. I remember she had preeclampsia and she posted a picture of her toes being, so swollen. She was in the hospital and she was posting pictures. And it was crazy. It was crazy. I didn't know the C-section took 2.5 hours. But, God bless her. God bless her. I don't know if this was a real scene or if it was just a conversation for TV, but I would hope that she would not risk her life again.
Same here. I think people take for granted how dangerous giving birth is, or even pregnancy is, just because it's a natural part of life and it, happens all the time. But it's truly dangerous, you guys. Like, be careful. We've got another super chat from Frankie J in the house. I like this name. Thank you so much for the super chat, Frankie J. Frankie says, "What do you think of Carlos claiming that Kandi?" Hey, leave me alone. What do you guys think of Carlos claiming that Kandi and Kenya's friendship is fake and that it's an alliance for the show? Thanks for bringing this up because I forgot to mention it. Do you think Carlos is telling the truth or is he hating?
I don't care. I'll be messy. Look,
okay.
Some of my subscribers sent me this review. I try to follow everybody. I'm subscribed to Carlos. I'm subscribed to Kandi, whatever. I watched this interview at the airport in these 3 hours where my flight was delayed. And he started his interview by saying that he liked the episode, which is a change because he doesn't typically like these episodes. But it was like a 40-minute review and about 15 minutes was about Kandi and Kenya's relationship. And I was kind of like, Kandi's gonna respond. That's what I was thinking. And then I think he talked about going viral with Sanya saying she didn't want Kandi on the show. And I'm like, Kandi's gonna respond to that too. So the majority of his stuff was about Kandi. He's like, I think Carlos knows Kandi well enough to know that he can kind of like, he'll poke and she'll poke back. So I don't know, but I enjoy watching it. So keep the videos coming, Carlos and Kandi.
What about you, Layla?
I don't know. Carlos can't okay, it came out that he interviewed Mama Joyce. It seemed to be under false pretenses. Like she thought it was something different than what it actually was. So I'm still not past that. Like interviewing somebody's mama and they having a different idea of what the interview is for. I'm not over that hurdle with Carlos King. I respect him as a business person and everything he's accomplished as a producer, but I'm not over that hurdle of talking to somebody's mama like that. So I don't even want to speak on him because it might not. I don't like the shade people, basically. Y'all know that. I don't like the shade people. So I don't want to say that.
It's a weird situation when somebody becomes a content creator. Let's just be honest. You have to toe the line because you are part of the conversation, but you are technically like our coworker now. So it's a very difficult thing to have to toe the line once somebody like Kandi or Carlos transition into YouTube or, social media stuff. And these two ladies are more graceful than I am. So I'll just be.
To be honest with you, I had no idea about him kind of like sort of almost ambushing Mama Joyce into an interview, but it kind of leads to a pattern of him being shady around things that involve Kandi, because he was rumored to have something to do with, you know, the dungeon and whatnot, and Phaedra and Portia. And then he allegedly was trying to take the rights to the story about Escape. So it seems like I don't know, it seems like he doesn't have a healthy relationship towards Kandi. And so I feel like this kind of stems from that almost.
Yeah, like he enjoys when people come on his show and shade Kandi. That's what it looks like.
Yeah. What are we talking about? It's Andy Cohen. What are we? This is what they do. They have poked and prodded these. They know how to like get a reaction. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't laughing at you, Grace. I was laughing at the question because I was like, there's a certain, I don't know about everybody on the panel, but we do have to be somewhat appropriate to our fellow coworkers, just out of respect. But I do review some of the things that Kandi and Carlos say, and I don't hold back.
I love it. I love it. And on that note, guys, if you enjoyed our commentary this week, please feel free to follow everybody from the panel. We've got Make It Make Sense and Layla Lynn as well. I've linked their YouTube channels in the title of my YouTube video, but I've also got links to their YouTube channels and their other social media channels in the description section of my video as well. So please, please, please check them out. They're super consistent. They have incredible, incredible opinions, and they're just great content creators, okay? We're going to leave on this last super chat from Ashley. Ashley, thank you so much for the super chat. I thought the sound effect was annoying you, Mims. I was like, it's so cute. I love it.
No, I was laughing at the question because I was like, on the spot.
Ashley says, I think Marlo's trying to be the new Nene and run the girls. I think so too. She's trying so hard to just have some kind of a place, and it's just not working. I don't think Marlo has genuine relationships within the circle, and that's just, it just doesn't work for her. Yeah. She's just too aggressive.
Yeah. Like and Nene was funny. Like, Nene was funny. Like, you can't replace Nene. I know she might have been problematic, but she was funny. Marlo is no Nene at all. At all.
Yeah.
Sidekick, yes. Main character, no.
No. I can't think of
a good sidekick. I'm sorry. If I'm getting married and you're throwing me something and we're all supposed to wear just one color in support of you, and you come out in a multicolored outfit, you were trying to steal Nene's moment from the very beginning when she was doing her fake marriage to Greg for the second time. Like, if you're going to play sidekick, be a good sidekick. Don't try to like take over.
Mm-hmm. I can agree with that. There you go, you guys. Thank you so much for watching this recap with us. We'll see you next week. Next week, we are going to be on Make It Make Sense's channel, right?
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. All right, you guys, take care. And please make sure to like the video on your